The city's efforts to fight coronavirus. Let's go ahead and listen in to this update from the mayor.
No. Good morning, and thank you for joining us and continuing to partner with us to make sure that the most up-to-date information about Savannah's preparation for and response to COVID-19 is accurate and disseminated correctly. I want to take just a moment as a part of my opening remarks to recognize and honor those who, by choice or circumstance, are on the front lines of this extraordinary event. Healthcare professionals in our hospitals and medical centers, police and fire professionals, members of the media, school teachers and school professionals, the trucking and transportation community, postal and delivery workers, sanitation and water treatment professionals, food service professionals, those that work in grocery stores, and those that are employed with essential businesses. You are the reason why we will win this war, by being a life support for the rest of us to live. And I thank you for your service. This is real. This virus is deadly. At this point, at least 2 local families have lost loved ones to COVID-19. The latest numbers from the Department of Public Health show a total of 19 cases confirmed in Chatham County. Add in the neighboring counties where our residents, partners, and friends drive to and from every day. There are 57 cases in the Coastal Health District. Now, a lot of people might think 57, oh, well, that's not so bad. But here's some breaking news. Confirmed cases do not mean total cases. Without each Savannian stepping up and taking personal responsibility, choosing to social distance and only go out for essential activities, this virus will spread like wildfire throughout our community, just as our friends in Dougherty County in Albany, Georgia. I have signed emergency orders that lay the groundwork for what each individual needs to do. The city is doing its part. Now we need you to do yours. Whether you are 17 years old or 73 years old, only you can stop this virus from decimating our beloved community. I am on daily conference calls with various partners, including the Coastal Health District, the Georgia Municipal Association, the Georgia Department of Public Health, mayors and healthcare professionals from across the country, comparing notes and determining best practices. I want you to know that your city council has been working diligently in their districts and on behalf of the city's interest. We have daily conference calls on weekdays for almost the last 2 weeks, and I will be recommending today reducing these meetings to 2 to 3 times a week as needs dictate. As you are aware, Savannah's shelter-at-home order has now been in place for a week. This order closed non-essential businesses, and Savannah's Code Compliance Department has been working diligently to make sure people and businesses are taking these restrictions seriously. On last Friday at 5:00 p.m., beauty, barber, and nail salons were also ordered to close. Last Thursday and Friday, our code compliance teams issued 50 notices to correct conditions to non-essential businesses that were still open and therefore violating the order. These notices let businesses know that they aren't complying with the order and allows them the opportunity to come into compliance by closing. If they decide not to close, Officers then will issue a summons to Recorder's Court where the business can be fined up to $1,000 for each day they are in violation. Yesterday, citations were issued. More on that in a moment. Yesterday, Chatham County government enacted additional safety measures for those entering our community. Anyone who has recently traveled by ship, plane, bus, or train is required to self-isolate for 14 days. They will fill out a questionnaire and have their temperature taken when they arrive into our community. Chatham area transit services are still available, but residents should only use them for essential trips like medical appointments, grocery shopping, or going to work. Passengers are encouraged to spread out on the buses. Our wonderful city employees have been working to provide you with quality services even in the midst of our current challenges, and we're making sure that we're protecting them by having the appropriate protective gear and sanitizing products to stay safe. And I want to thank the city manager and our city team for doing that. As a reminder, Savannah utility customers will not have their water shut off for non-payment through at least April the 30th. And I have to say again, there is no curfew in Savannah yet. And there are no city helicopters flying around spraying Lysol on everyone. It's a shame I have to keep saying that, but that's what people keep saying. There's no curfew, and the helicopters are not flying around spraying Lysol on people. We want to make it clear, though, that although we're understanding the challenges people are facing, you still have to pay your water bill. This is just a temporary solution to help those financially struggling at this time. If you could pay it, as usual, please do so. Also, if you owed us money before the pandemic, you still owe us money. And if fines were incurred before the pandemic, you still owe us fines. Now, many citizens and businesses have complied with our emergency order, and I thank them for that. So many of you have taken this crisis seriously. You have restricted your travel, you've stayed at home, you have closed your businesses, or you have modified your businesses or their practices to comply with this legal order, and I thank you for that. But there are many of you, citizens and businesses, who have acted like this is some vacation, some weird game of hide and go seek, or some version of catch me if you can. Over the weekend, I rode by various parks, and in Forsyth Park particularly, I witnessed large gatherings of people playing team sports, eating, lounging, relaxing, having a grand time, acting like it's picnic in the park. This is not acceptable. I heard about, and even probably by mistake got invited to, parties and get-togethers in houses, apartments, and backyards like it's the 4th of July. I have witnessed and received numerous reports of businesses operating outside and illegally of the emergency order, selling cars, conducting beauty, nail and barbering activities, and other prohibited activities. If you don't care about your customers, then at least care about your employees and those folks that could potentially take the virus home to those that they love. I submit to you that the dollars you make are not worth the epidemic spreading in this community. This is not a game. This is real life, and we're living in it, real time. Finally, to those businesses that are deemed essential, please do whatever you can to protect your employees. During some of my visits to some of our big box stores and fast food restaurants, and after receiving complaints and concerns from various warehouses in our community, it is clear to me that there are not enough proactive measures being taken to protect those who must work. Your bottom line is to protect those who work for you. Please protect them. Please protect them. We want nothing more than to protect you and to protect those you love. This is not a game. Please listen to the advice of the public health professionals and stay home as much as possible. We are keeping the faith, but we're also following the science. Consider this. The numbers that we see today, 19 cases, 2 deaths, as Dr. Davis so aptly illustrates, is really a snapshot of 2 weeks ago. We're living life 2 weeks behind the curve. What happens today, we won't see for another 2 weeks. You could possibly walk around with the infection for 2 to 14 days, and therefore being a danger to everyone you come around with. So it will be almost 2 weeks before we actually recognize what happened, that foolishness in Forsyth Park, and what that was all about, and what damage that has done to our community. What damage those cookouts did in our community. What damage not following social distancing has done to our community. Now, we've tried very hard to be very thoughtful and incremental in what we are doing, maintaining a very intentional balance between safety and freedom, between safety and our local economy, between safety and heavy-handed approaches. But be warned and please be assured that the city's resolve to protect our citizens is unwavering and absolutely categorically clear. If some of these cavalier attitudes and actions do not change and things do not improve quickly, please be assured that dramatically more restrictive actions will be ordered, which could include curfews and more closures. The places you love to go to will be closed. Bottom line, Savannah could be shut down in a way that has never been seen in our 287-year history. Please, please, please help us to help you. We're going to get through this, but everybody has to play their role and everybody has to play their part. We need you to stay home. We need you not to go out unless you absolutely have to. And we need you to fill out your 2020 census. Tomorrow is Census Day, and that's no April Fool. While you're sitting at home, going crazy about what to do, here's an opportunity for you to help us. Because, again, we'll be approaching Congress with requests for money and requests for legislation, for requests for representation, and the census is the only constitutionally enacted bounds for means for us to be able to do that. As I said always, may God bless you, and may God continue to bless the city of Savannah. And I'll entertain any questions if you have any.
Mr. Mayor, with President, as Chairman Scott said yesterday, or Dennis Jones did, signed the disaster order for Georgia, how is that going to impact the city of Savannah? How is that going to help you all?
Whose order?
The President's order signing the declaration of disaster.
Well, I think that in a couple of ways we subject to the President's order and to the Governor's orders. I think for us, it's an opportunity for us to, again, look what the orders actually mean and what that's safe for us. So each order has different, I guess, I won't say consequences, but conditions for which we have to be able to evaluate and to apply. We have to comply with those orders. So whatever they are, particularly those that relate to funding, we want to look at how that happens. We're evaluating the 800 page plus stimulus package. What does that mean for Savannah? What does that mean for our small businesses? To dissect it in a way, and it's a legal document. So how do we come up with the information that's going to be able to best be disseminated across our community?
Mayor Johnson, of all these orders, obviously layers to all of these and how they can affect the city. I know you mentioned this yesterday, I believe, during the news conference at the county. But what, again, are those conversations like at the state level to get more robust mandates across Georgia?
Yesterday, I was on a conference call with the Georgia Municipal Association and with most of Georgia's 538 mayors from the cities in the state. I mean, we're all basically saying the same thing. It is very difficult for us to have emergency orders of varying degrees, of varying conditions, when neighboring cities don't have them. We're asking for some uniformity. We're asking for some consistency. And we believe that the state can provide us that consistency. I know, for example, it's very difficult for some of our business owners that we are closing them out of an abundance of caution, yet they can go to Garden City or Pooler or Tybee or Thunderbolt to be able to get it. It puts them at an economic disadvantage. And it actually then moves the threat from our community to somebody else's community. And so you get a kind of a cross-pollination because those individuals come back into Savannah. And so we've been asking the governor, and we'll be sending a letter under most of our signatures, asking the governor for more decisive action. I understand that he wants to take it slow. I understand that he wants to maintain arrows in his quiver. But the fact of the matter is, these cities need some consistency in what we're doing. Because right now, we're all over the place. And I think all over the place in a state where people can travel freely from one city to another does not bode well for Savannah, particularly when you look at what's happening across the nation. When you go on 95 going south to Florida, they're stopping you because Florida is taking care of its citizens. So they get turned around. Guess where they get turned around to? Georgia. And 100 miles from that, where are they? Savannah.
Mayor Johnson, the big issue right now is obviously people still gathering in city parks, and I think maybe a good point to make here is that you have said people can get outside, you can exercise, but that's different than gathering all together. So can you kind of touch on that?
Sure, and thank you for the question. We intentionally left Forsyth and our public parks open even though we closed recreational spaces, and that was intentional because we were trying to stop opportunities for people to gather. So people walking around Forsyth Park, walking around Daffin Park, I mean, that's fine. They're walking their dogs, that's fine. What we saw in Forsyth Park over the weekend was a party. It was an absolute party. Had I not been socially distant, I might have joined them because it looked like a lot of fun. They were having, food, it was drinks, it was, hugs and high fives. And again, this is exactly what we don't want. And my fear is that people have been lulled into a false sense of security because they say, oh, well, at that time, 15 cases in Savannah is not a lot of cases. And again, by Savannah extension, Chatham County is not a lot of cases. But again, what they don't realize is the science says that we're living 2 weeks behind the curve. And so, we don't know yet how many people will be infected by what happened in Forsyth Park over the weekend. Again, just going around, going to a couple of Walmarts. I mean, I said before, Walmart's become like the new club. And I saw things that really, really concerned me. You have employees there that are working because that's what they signed up to do. But yet you didn't really see good social distancing. You're watching people and they have on their gloves to protect their hands, but they're in produce. They touch this, same glove, touch that. And it's like, what are you doing? And those are the types of behaviors. And maybe these stores, would be best served to be able to limit the number of people in the store at one time. I mean, I know it might be a pain in the neck, but the reality is once they're in these stores, it's really, really difficult to control their behavior within the stores. And so we're asking them, we know that they're essential establishments. We thank them for their service and what they mean to our communities, but we're also concerned about transmission occurring in these places and also those employees who work in those places. I'm also very concerned about Gulfstream. Again, I've been receiving concerns from employees and contractors, and again, they fall into a different category. But now we're starting to see, some cases there, and I've been advised of more cases from contractors and people who live there. And the interesting thing about that is that they don't all live in Chatham County. So they work in Chatham County, they go to other places, they either take it there or they bring it back here. And again, that cross-pollination is a very, very dangerous thing.
And I know that you said the city is ready to take the next steps if it has to, such as close more places or implement a curfew. What is it going to take for that to happen?
For us to see that the behavior in our community has not substantially improved. And we're monitoring. Of course, we have 2,438 eyes out there that are kind of reporting into a brain center. And we've been really blessed. Social media works for us too. And so we have employees of some of these establishments. We have people that are going into some of these establishments telling us what's going on. People from a couple of car service places saying, I came in for service and they're selling me cars and trying to sell me cars. Again, being sneaky doesn't work. And again, I know economics is important, but I just think in this case, lives are more important. I'm a New Yorker by birth. My parents are in the middle of this, and I now know people in the recent days who have died from this, and people can't even go to the hospital to be with their loved ones as they take their final breath. They're packing bodies into refrigerated trucks because they don't have room in the morgues for them. That's what we're headed to. It's like a hurricane. You see it in the distance, and you see it coming, so we should be preparing for it to at least minimize our impact. But for some reason, we feel that Savannah is immune to it. And while I hope I'm wrong, all conventional wisdom say we are not. Look at Albany, Georgia. Look at what they're going through. They're smaller than us, 25% smaller than we are here in Chatham County, and look at the cases. The New York Times had an article about that this morning. How they have more deaths per capita, I believe, than anywhere in the country, and certainly anywhere in our state. This happens to big cities, and it happens to small cities, and it happens to cities in between. And so we're concerned, and we're doing this to try to alleviate as much of that as we can.
Mr. Mayor, you shared your concerns about Gulfstream employees. Have you had a dialogue with the ports? Because I know that county is stressing them to do screening. What dialogue have you had with them?
None. There are some realities at play. The ports, Georgia Ports Authority is a state-owned and operated authority. They take their direction from the governor. And so therefore, for me, with very limited time and lately very limited energy, we have to be able to go where we know we can make the most impact. And so while we can certainly call, the fact of the matter is, unless the governor tells them to do something differently, I believe that's a call on the county to suggest and to the governor to make.
Mayor Johnson, you may have touched on this yesterday also, but what's the likelihood at this point? Tomorrow will be 1 week away from that shelter-at-home order expiring. What's the likelihood that that will be extended here in Savannah?
Very likely. I'm not a betting man, but very likely. Very likely. And that's not April Fool.
Mr. Mayor, if you are forced to make the restrictions more stringent and individuals choose to ignore that and still go out to Forsyth Park, play volleyball, whatever, what kind of enforcement would be applied to the individuals? I know right now the focus is on business.
Well, it's two things. I think, first of all, we have the ability to and prepared to shut these parks down That's to the detriment of everybody, but we can create ways where if you enter those parks, you're trespassing, which is a criminal offense. And I think for those, again, the law prescribes several penalties for not following the law. And we will take that very, very seriously. And at that point, someone who knows what the directives are and knows what the law is and purposely chooses not to, in my mind, is a menace to society. And so we will address that through legal terms.
Another question regarding, yesterday I passed by Home Depot and the place was completely packed. It looked like a lot of the shoppers were buying home improvement kind of stuff, certainly not essential. Is this part of the issue that you're seeing, that you're reacting to? And will there be any sort of enforcement, like in the parking lot, like, hey man, you don't need to be buying a lemon tree right now?
Well, and again, that's what we're trying to avoid, which is why I made the appeal to big box stores to be able to try to limit the number of people in their stores. They can certainly make parking spaces one parking space apart. I went by Best Buy the other day, and Best Buy has closed their store, and now they're doing all of their services from curbside. They spaced out, I think, quite appropriately in their parking lot to keep social distancing and to protect their employees. You know, the flower department, plant department at Home Depot is like the club too. I mean, I think what happens is that because of all of the extra time people now have, the honey-do list become important. I mean, and you understand that. I mean, you know, people are going stir crazy at home. And so this is the opportunity to be able to do that. And we're not saying that this is not the time to do it. I would submit to you this is the right time for planning and taking time to do the things that you should have done. But I think there's a responsibility that is done in a responsible manner. And again, you know, we can have from a Home Depot, you know, 2 weeks out, or Walmart, or Lowe's, or, you know, or a Target, or those types of places that we can have infections to occur. So again, at this point, I'm just asking for these businesses to protect their employees and to protect their customers by taking extraordinary measures to be able to socially distance themselves.
Last question for me, Mr. Mayor, is with so many businesses that are really looking and struggling, how is the city of Savannah managing the budget, monetary funds, with losing $150,000 a day?
Well, the $150,000 a day is it's a guesstimate, probably in the modest range, $4.5 million a month or so. You know, I think the good part about this is that the city of Savannah, despite popular belief and social media myth, was actually in a pretty decent financial position. We have about 75 days of fund balance reserve or so, which is about 18% of our general fund, which means that we can manage for a while. And so again, it's important for us to be able to maintain economic stability, make sure that our purchases are prudent and related to what we're facing. We are blessed with, I think, an excellent city manager, a phenomenal budget team, that's what they do day in and day out. Make sure that the city is going to be okay. And I think we will be okay after this. Now, after this, and depending on what our situation looks like after this, you know, we're going to have to make some very difficult decisions because we would have gone quite some time without our second largest way to get revenue, and that's through sales taxes. If people are not buying, we're not getting that money. And so for us, you know, we'll have to sit down and do that. Fortunately, again, Mr. Monahan and his team, you know, that's what they do every day. I mean, they're looking at scenarios and looking to advise council as appropriate about what our moves need to be. The problem is we don't know how far we are in this. Hurricanes are a little easier. We know it comes. We know it's here for 2 days. We know it's gone. We can kind of estimate our impact. Right now, we just don't know.
Mayor Johnson, when you've spoken with the governor, saying that you think the state needs stricter measures, I mean, what is he saying? Why hasn't he yet?
Well, my conversation has not been directly with the governor. It's been through an association of mayors from across the city. And again, I'm not going to criticize anybody because I think that everybody has to play their role from their level. You know, my level is Savannah, period. And so, you know, I understand that the governor wants to take a more deliberate approach and be a little bit more incremental than we are. I think speaking on behalf of Savannah and on behalf of cities, we recognize that we need some more consistency. Because again, you have cities literally competing against each other. And in these days and times, that's not what you want. You don't want cities fighting against each other. You don't want it to be where you can't buy a car in Savannah, but you can buy one in Garden City. I mean, it's those types of things. Again, you know, it's a morale issue. It's an economic issue. And I'm just saying, whatever we're doing, let's all do it together. Let's be one Georgia.
When you were in the same room with all of the mayors of Chatham County yesterday, I mean, is the consensus kind of the same as far as what everybody else is
Absolutely,
thinking?
absolutely. Again, we're winging it based on our situations. And again, we just think a uniform approach is probably more appropriate. And that's why you've seen cities across the state kind of go for, I think Savannah has gone further than most. But again, our population is different. We're more dense. We have a larger business presence. We have the ports and the airport and bridges. We're next to another state, which has a relatively high count. So again, our actions are going to be a little more drastic.
Are construction sites being actively monitored? Because I know that if it's already been approved before this all happened, then it's allowed to carry on, but it sure seems like a lot of them have a lot of bustling activity. I mean, I guess the contractors are responsible for making sure they have hand sanitizer and whatnot. Is this something that is being monitored?
We're monitoring everything. And I think particularly make sure that construction is going on is correctly permitted. You know, again, the goal is that it's more than business at this point. It's about people. The way Savannah gets back on its feet is by people getting back on their feet. If we have a sick community, that will delay Savannah getting back on its feet. And that's just something we don't want. Anything else? Okay. Young lady, what is your name? Thank you.
Oh, my name's Dana Batista.
Thank you, Ms. Betches. We really appreciate you. We thank her for, again, allowing us and helping us to reach our hearing impaired community. So thank you so much. We really appreciate you. And I do know that that clap is good, right? Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you all so much again. You all be safe as well. And, you know, clean those cameras.